Well, we got an announcement this morning. And no, it's not a Nintendo Direct, but instead, a new trailer for Splatoon Raiders. We thought that with Splatoon Raiders getting rated and all these other games, a Nintendo Direct was probably happening. But maybe I was just spreading misinformation. Well, with that, I guess we get into it. Now, with the Nintendo Direct situation, it's honestly gone up to a crazy standard. Right now, we've been waiting, asking, wondering, where's this Nintendo Direct? And everybody has probably been wondering the exact same question, because it seems like every single day on the internet, you'll say, hey, Nintendo Direct is happening, Nintendo Direct is happening, Nintendo Direct is happening. I know that I'm really guilty of this myself. It seems like every week, at least once a week, I'm always talking about the future, the next Direct, everything getting announced soon. But now with Splatoon Raiders getting announced, it makes you wonder, is Nintendo trying to get rid of Directs as a whole? Because that game was originally released or revealed on a random Tuesday morning on the Nintendo Today app, which was pretty much like a year ago by now. Which is honestly a crazy thing to really say. We were always wondering, is Splatoon Raiders going to be in some sort of Nintendo Direct? I think it only showed up maybe once, but it wasn't the reveal or it wasn't even the release date. We got both of those on just a random Tuesday morning. So honestly, it might make you question everything about Nintendo as a whole. Maybe Directs are only for the special few, like the Mario, the Zeldas, and the Pokémon, or maybe the Kirbys at this point too. Because honestly, it seems like that's the direction that Nintendo's headed. The smaller games or smaller franchises are just going to get a reveal trailer just randomly. It could be Friday, it could be Tuesday, it could be on the Nintendo Today app, it could be on Twitter like we saw with Rhythm Haven Groove. But overall, the point being said, the point being clear, maybe Nintendo is completely waiting for June, and all you skeptics out there wondering, is June actually the correct date? Might have been right along to say maybe it's June. June's going to be happening. That's when all of this stuff is going to be revealed. Ocarina of Time remake and also these other games. But honestly, this is kind of a weird situation because with the launch of a brand new console, you would think that Nintendo would do some sort of direct announcing the success, announcing that there's going to be a lot more games, you wondering should you buy a Nintendo Switch, give me some reasons to buy a Nintendo Switch too, but it seems like that is going to hold off until summer games, which is definitely really interesting. Now honestly, with the release date of Splatoon Raiders being July 23rd, that is really cool, I would say. We weren't too far off by saying that this is going to be happening really soon. And it seems like Nate the Hate was right yet again. So it means that 1 point closer to the Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time remake. Honestly, I think that this would be the biggest thing of all, for of course the 40th anniversary of the Legend of Zelda series and everything moving forward. But now, with the announcement of Splatoon Raiders, what exactly does this mean? Well, at first, the reason why we thought that there was going to be a Nintendo Direct is because all of these different games were being rated. We had like at least 10 different third-party games, and we had 2 main Nintendo games, which was Splatoon Raiders, and we also had Fire Emblem. We also had Rhythm Haven Groove at some point until Nintendo just randomly dropped a trailer on that. And honestly, funny story about Splatoon Raiders. I think this game is probably going to be very well worth it. It's kind of like your extraction shooter in some way, but in a Splatoon formula, and it's also only $50. So instead of your $80 game, $50, that's honestly a great deal. Well, depending on how the game plays, of course. But honestly, I think that this is pretty cool. But honestly, is the Nintendo Direct situation just falling apart? Is Nintendo never going to release a single Direct until they get everything sorted out? I honestly think that that definitely could be a possibility. Maybe they've been just waiting for their Marios, their Zeldas, their Pokemon, their Kirbys, and those bigger franchises, those are going to be inside the Direct. And then there's smaller franchises like Splatoon and Rhythm Haven, and then Tamagotchi Life didn't get one, and then Mario Wonder Switch 2 Edition and all the other Switch 2 editions didn't really get a Direct. That's probably where this is headed. I don't necessarily think that they're completely phasing them out, but it's definitely a possibility at this point. If we get the Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time, just randomly get a release or get some sort of announcement, then that probably means 1 to 2 things. Nintendo thinks that that game is small, or Nintendo is just getting rid of Nintendo Directs as a whole. Because maybe they want everyone to start using Twitter or YouTube or Nintendo Today instead of Direct, but even though that doesn't make sense because they always stream them on YouTube anyways. So overall, it's a whole weird mess. But honestly, I think that something's gotta be happening soon because everyone's losing their minds. Like, I can't be the only one saying this, but I feel like I've been just losing my mind over when we could see the Nintendo Direct, when we could see these new games, these exciting games, these announcements that are supposedly going to be happening. And honestly, if it's going to be happening in June, well, we have about 2 months to be waiting, so make sure you're waiting for 2 months. It's pretty much like we're going back to 2023, I believe it was, when we didn't really see a Nintendo Direct, but besides tiny little announcements and things like that, that definitely could be it. But although 2023 wasn't the worst year for Nintendo, we did get Mario Wonder. We also got the Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, which honestly is really cool. And we got a couple other games, so it definitely wasn't the worst year. Just because we're not getting these directs doesn't mean it's going to fall into a horrible year. I honestly think that for those of us who like the enjoyment and the announcements of all the upcoming games, it might be a long year to wait for these next directs. But let's hope that Nate the Hate is right for this June direct, that it's actually going to be in June. I mean, April, I would have took it, but right now it seems like that's not the case, because if it was in April, they wouldn't have released the Splatoon Raiders trailer just randomly, because if they wanted to, they could have waited for this direct. It's not like the game is coming out very, very soon. It's coming out later, so they could have waited. But overall, it's something that maybe they just wanted to give us a sneak peek. Hey, this is the game that's coming out soon. I've heard your complaints. Your complaints are about there's no games. Well, guess what? There is games. Did you look at PlayStation? Did you look at Xbox? That's right. Checkmate. We also got games. Overall, that's probably what the Nintendo system, the Nintendo situation is at. I don't necessarily think that directs are getting completely phased out, but it might be something that you want to keep your eye out on, because if we get, like I said, something big from Nintendo today instead of a direct, I gotta admit, it seems like we are going to be getting just Nintendo Today Directs. Maybe they're actually going to be doing that. Instead of doing YouTube Directs, they're going to be like, hey, there's a computer app for Nintendo Today. There's also a Nintendo Today app on your phone. There's going to be one on the television. So yeah, we're not doing YouTube Directs. We're doing Today Directs. So have fun. Woohoo! Anyways, what are your thoughts on this? Do you think that this is really cool or really interesting? Also, with Splatoon Raiders, not only is the game $50, but it also has 3 amiibos, which I'm really excited. The amiibos are just the best part. Maybe that's what they're doing, because they want to get more in-depth trailer, because in a direct, you can only go like 2 minutes. It's usually 2-minute directs, and then you move on to something big. So maybe that's exactly what they're trying to do. Thin out the directs or not have one at all, and just have bigger trailers instead. Maybe that's it. Maybe that's not it. Let me know in the comment section down below. Thank you so much for watching. Hope that you enjoyed. Are you disappointed in this news, or are you happy? Anyways, thank you so much. See you in the next one.